Let me make clear that there is no Kosovo in Metohija. It doesn't exist, ladies and gentlemen. Kosovo in Metohija is an expression, is a clear expression of hegemonistic ambitions of Serbia over Kosovo. To keep it simple, it is the old language of Slobodan Milošević and those who follow him still. Kosovo is a pure Western democracy in the Western Balkans. The support for NATO and the United States is at a 90% level in our country. We are the most pro-NATO and the most pro-US country in the world. We were saved from an ongoing genocide by the civilized world through NATO's intervention. About 13,000 people were killed by Serbian atrocities, instigated by a war criminal, President Milošević, and his president during this genocide was Mr. Vučić, who is now the president of Serbia. So we are not talking about history, but about the present. And in the present, Serbia is a real threat to the region. We watch daily the relentless propaganda machine of Vučić-controlled media, see the hatred that is systematically spread, poisoning Serbian society. And we see the systematic spread of propaganda preparing a military aggression against our country. Across Serbia, you can see huge graffiti, big murals like this one. Where it is written, when the army returns to Kosovo. Yes, there is not written if the army returns to Kosovo. It is written when. They do not hide their goals. They are clear about it, openly. They just leave the timing open. Yes, we are in favor of dialogue, and I really want to use this occasion to comment the work of Mr. Sørensen in trying to find a way how we can come to a good result, even with rejecting Serbia. But please, we need a real dialogue, not deception by Vučić, whose strategy towards the EU is betrayal and towards his neighbors is hybrid warfare up to paramilitary aggression. Yes, reducing tensions. As the smaller neighbor, we have every interest to reduce tensions with our aggressive neighbor, who has a military machine equipped by far beyond what is necessary for defense, equipped even by Russia and China. And for the first time in history, it has undertaken military exercises even with China, in China, just a few weeks back. That is the reality. Many other presentations are wishful thinking. Therefore, we have to be as clear as possible here at the highest UN body, whose most important obligation from the UN Charter is to preserve peace. The fact of the matter is, Serbia has proven in 2023 that it is ready for war. Vučić can only be deterred, not convinced. A racist mindset is not something you can simply wish or talk away. In September 2023, Serbia carried out a military-grade attack against the Republic of Kosovo, sending paramilitaries trained and equipped by Serbia with anti-tank, anti-aircraft, and other sophisticated weapons, with plans to carve out the northern territory of our country by force. The commander of that incursion was Vučić's right-hand man for Kosovo. Meanwhile, Vučić keeps hosting him as a guest of honor of the regime. It is impunity for murder, for aggression. The international community has to pressure the regime. If there are no consequences, they will escalate further because they have nothing to fear but words. The current Serbian Foreign Minister, Gjuriqit, knows that murderer very well. He has no problem with murderers and with violence. He may have a soft voice, ladies and gentlemen, but he sat down for coffee after the Banjska aggression with the murderer Radojčić. Gjurić was Vučić's representative for Kosovo for years, colluding with extremists, overseeing a massive increase in violence and threats against Serb citizens by Serb criminals and terrorists. He was a partner in crime, corruption, and suppression. Then we came into power, and that story ended. We freed those citizens, mostly Serb Kosovar citizens, from the brutal grip of organized crime. Unfortunately, none of that you will know if you read the UNMIK reports. Kosovo is not the country described in a biased and incomplete UNMIK report, which omits basic facts. Russia's and Serbia's propaganda machines are investing a lot to distort reality, to claim that our Serb citizens are being driven out of the country. Here's the catch. Does anyone here know any country that invests millions for 2,000 jobs in a region with less than 30,000 people only to drive them out? Does anyone know any country that allows foreign hostile payments to its own citizens while at the same time paying pensions, child benefits, and social transfers itself? Nothing of that you will find in the UNMIK report. We are against any discrimination, but we will also not tolerate that the horrors of the past return. Never again. We fight extremism and we fight for tolerance and the rule of law, like any other normal European country. Serbia is not a normal European country. It is ready to bully, to threaten, and to attack peaceful neighbors. That is why we know how to distinguish between Belgrade regime and the Serb citizens. Months ago, Serbia arrested former police officer Arnor Spahiju while he was traveling through Serbia with his family. The accusation? Alleged involvement in the defense against the Serbian attack on Banjska. At that time, however, Arnor Spahiju had long left the police service and was living abroad. But this case clearly demonstrates the extent of Serbia's involvement in the Banjska attack and its pursuit of retaliation against those who defended Kosovo and resisted Radojčić and the other paramilitaries involved in the Banjska operation. From this very place, I call on Serbia to immediately release Arnor Spahiju. The situation in the Balkans is not complicated. It is not about tensions or ethnic divisions or history. It's about the present and about real threats. If you take the Vučić regime out of the equation, the Balkans is all peace and cooperation. There is no quarrel between Albania, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Kosovo, or Bosnia. On the contrary, we trade, we travel, and we all share the same European and Euro-Atlantic destiny, except Serbia. Serbia's regime is constantly trying to interfere in Kosovo, in Bosnia, in Montenegro, and in North Macedonia. It is fundamentally wrong and highly dangerous to search for a solution by appeasing the Vučić regime. It doesn't work, not for Kosovo, not for Bosnia, because it is all about extremist ideologies pursued by the biggest and most aggressive country in the region. For a reason, many call it Little Russia, because Russia is deeply embedded in Serbia, in politics, government, secret services, the economy, the energy sector, the media, even the military, just everywhere. We must not be distracted by false propaganda. We must face reality. It's not about 4 small municipalities. It's about Russia, its allies, and geopolitics. It will surely not be the biased UNMIK report that defines the future of our region. UNMIK has to be closed. It is a huge waste of UN money. It serves no purpose anymore. If it were gone tomorrow, nothing would change in Kosovo and its citizens. The outcome in the region will be defined by the battle between Western democracies and autocracies for influence in this part of Europe. We need a thorough analysis of facts on the ground to find a geopolitical answer to Serbia, Russia, and China, who want to seize control over that part of Europe within EU and NATO geography. Again, this is not, definitely not, about Kosovo. Kosovo is just fine. As I said, our citizens, our youth, our women, our economy, our growth, our military, and our police all are thriving. Kosovo has the strength and the willpower to weather any storm. We are pursuing our path to Euro-Atlantic integration. Serbia is going in the other direction, towards Russia. Our warning is clear. Do not wait too long. Do not risk another Balkan war by focusing on the wrong questions instead of tackling the real danger. I thank you so much.
I thank Madam Gërvalla Shorts for her statement, and I now give the floor to those members of the Council who wish to make statements, and I give the floor to the representative of China.
President, first I welcome Foreign Minister Gjuriqit of Serbia to today's meeting. I thank Deputy SSG Mailbird 𝐷𝐞𝐬𝐞𝐫𝐯𝐞𝐿 for his briefing. I make 4 points. First, it is imperative to maintain social stability. For some time now, the situation in northern Kosovo has been volatile. The Kosovo authorities forced the closure of multiple institutions opened by the Serb community, targeted Serbs with violent searches, threats, and coercion, and forcefully built and opened the Ibar River bridge. These acts violate the legitimate rights and interests of the Serbs and lead to panic and tensions. China expresses grave concerns over these developments. We urge the Kosovo authorities to cease escalatory unilateral actions, earnestly safeguard the safety and legitimate rights interests of the Serb community, and maintain peace and stability in the north. Second, committed efforts are needed to promote ethnic reconciliation. The complex ethnic relations in Balkans have been shaped by history. Inclusion and reconciliation serve the long-term and fundamental interests of all communities. Lately, divisions simmered among parties over Kosovo parliamentary elections, underscoring the urgently needed ethnic reconciliation. We call on the Kosovo authorities to take seriously the basic appeals of all communities, including Serbs, in political, economic, culture, and linguistic domains.